The Florida Everglades is one of America's greatest treasures, a vast and beautiful river of grass teeming with unique wildlife. But this incredible ecosystem is facing a silent and devastating crisis. An invasive species, the Burmese python, has taken over. These giant snakes, native to Southeast Asia, found a perfect new home in Florida's warm, humid climate. Most of them started as pets that either escaped or were released into the wild back in the 1980s. With no natural predators to keep them in check, their population has exploded into the tens of thousands, creating an ecological nightmare that threatens the very balance of this fragile environment. The impact of these powerful constrictors has been absolutely catastrophic for Florida's native animals. A study from 2012 revealed some shocking numbers that paint a grim picture of the damage. Raccoon populations in the Everglades have plummeted by over 99%. The number of bobcats has dropped by nearly 90%. Other animals like opossums and marsh rabbits have all but vanished from large areas where the pythons thrive. These snakes are incredibly effective hunters, growing longer than a car and weighing over 150 pounds. They can eat anything from small birds to full-grown deer, and their relentless appetite is emptying the Everglades of its most iconic residents. Florida has been fighting a losing battle against these invaders for years. The state has poured millions of dollars into solving the problem, with over $3 million allocated for control efforts in 2023 alone. They have hired professional python hunters, offered bounties for captured snakes, and encouraged the public to report sightings. Yet despite these dedicated efforts, the python population continues to grow. The Everglades is an immense and often inaccessible wilderness, full of swamps and dense vegetation. This makes finding and removing the snakes incredibly difficult. For every single python that a hunter manages to catch, countless others are hiding, breeding, and spreading further. The python invasion represents a profound challenge, one that has left scientists and conservationists scrambling for a solution. The traditional methods of hunting and removal are simply not enough to turn the tide against such a successful and widespread invasive species. The scale of the problem is so immense that it has forced people to think outside the box, leading to some truly wild and desperate ideas. The quiet collapse of the Everglades ecosystem demands a powerful response, but the question of what that response should be has led to one of the most talked about and controversial proposals in modern conservation history. With the python problem spiraling out of control, a radical idea began to circulate online and in conservation circles. What if Florida fought fire with fire? The proposal was simple and dramatic. Release thousands of honey badgers into the Everglades to hunt the pythons. At first, the idea was mostly a joke, a wild what-if scenario that captured the public's imagination. But the more people learned about the honey badger, the more the idea gained traction. This creature, after all, is officially listed by the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's most fearless animal, and its reputation for taking on deadly opponents is legendary. The argument for using honey badgers is rooted in their incredible natural abilities. In their native habitats across Africa and Asia, they are known for their sheer grit and aggression. They don't back down from anything, regularly confronting predators many times their size, including lions and hyenas. More importantly, snakes are a regular part of their diet. Honey badgers are documented python hunters, equipped with the perfect set of tools for the job. Their powerful jaws can crush bone, and their long, sharp claws can tear through tough hides and even turtle shells. They are built for a fight, and their relentless nature makes them seem like the perfect soldier for this ecological war. Perhaps the most compelling trait of the honey badger is its near-supernatural defense against snake bites. These animals have a remarkable natural resistance to venom. There are incredible videos and accounts of a honey badger being bitten by a deadly cobra, collapsing as if it were dead, only to wake up a short time later and finish eating the very snake that bit it. This amazing adaptation means that even if a python managed to strike, a honey badger would likely survive the encounter and continue its attack. This venom resistance, combined with its thick, loose skin that allows it to twist and bite back even when caught, makes it a formidable snake-fighting machine. Beyond their physical toughness, honey badgers are also incredibly intelligent and resourceful. They belong to the mustelid family, which includes clever animals like weasels and otters. One famous honey badger in South Africa named Stoffel became an internet sensation for his repeated, ingenious escapes from his enclosure. He learned to open locks, stack rocks to climb walls, and even build makeshift ladders out of branches. This intelligence suggests that a honey badger wouldn't just be a brute force. It would be a smart and adaptable predator, capable of tracking and outwitting pythons in the complex Everglades environment. The idea was born: unleash this fearless, venom-resistant, and clever hunter on Florida's biggest problem. While the idea of a honey badger army taking on pythons is exciting, scientists and conservation experts are united in their horror at the proposal. They warn that introducing the honey badger to Florida would be a catastrophic mistake, an ecological gamble that would almost certainly backfire. The biggest problem is that honey badgers are not specialist snake eaters. They are extreme generalist predators. They are known to eat over 60 different types of food, including insects, bird eggs, rodents, roots, and fruit. In the Everglades, a honey badger would not waste its energy wrestling a 15-foot python when it could easily find a nest of unprotected eggs or a slow-moving gopher tortoise. This is where the plan transforms from a potential solution into an absolute nightmare for Florida's native wildlife. The state is home to numerous threatened and endangered species that would be helpless against a new, fearless predator. Florida's beaches are critical nesting grounds for 5 different species of sea turtles, all of which are already vulnerable or critically endangered. Honey badgers are notorious nest raiders and would dig up and devour countless turtle eggs, pushing these fragile populations closer to extinction. Similarly, the American crocodile, another species slowly recovering in Florida, would see its nests and young targeted, undoing decades of conservation. Another major red flag is the lack of natural predators for the honey badger in Florida. In their native Africa, their numbers are kept in check by powerful animals like lions and leopards. In Florida, the top predators are black bears, alligators, and the endangered Florida panther. None of these animals are equipped or likely to hunt a creature as ferocious and difficult to kill as a honey badger. Without any natural controls, the honey badger population would likely explode, just as the python population did. We would simply be trading one invasive species crisis for another, and potentially a much worse one. Finally, the conflict wouldn't be limited to the wilderness. Honey badgers are known for causing trouble wherever they live near humans. They raid chicken coops, destroy beehives to get to the honey, and have even been known to attack livestock like sheep and goats. An established population in Florida would inevitably lead to widespread conflict with farmers, beekeepers, and even suburban homeowners. The same fearlessness that makes them great snake hunters would make them a dangerous and destructive nuisance to people. In the end, the honey badger would not be a silver bullet, it would be a ticking time bomb. The idea of introducing one animal to control another is not new, and history provides us with grim lessons about why it usually fails. These cautionary tales serve as a stark warning against the honey badger plan. One of the most infamous examples comes from Hawaii in the 1800s. To control the rat population in sugarcane fields, farmers introduced the mongoose. However, the planners made a critical mistake. Rats are nocturnal, active at night, while mongooses are diurnal, active during the day. The two animals rarely crossed paths. Instead of eating rats, the mongooses turned on Hawaii's native ground-nesting birds, driving many species to extinction. Another classic disaster unfolded in Australia in 1935. About 2,400 cane toads were released with the goal of controlling beetles that were damaging sugarcane crops. The toads completely ignored the beetles. Instead, their population grew into the hundreds of millions, and they spread across the continent like a plague. Worse, the toads are poisonous, and any native predator that tries to eat them, from crocodiles to lizards, is killed. The cane toad didn't solve the original problem and created a new, ongoing ecological catastrophe that Australia is still dealing with today. These historical failures show that introducing a generalist predator almost always leads to unintended and devastating consequences. There have been rare successes in biological control, but they work under very specific circumstances that do not apply to the honey badger. For example, the Vidalia beetle was successfully used in California to save the citrus industry from an insect called the cottony cushion scale. The reason it worked is that the beetle is a specialist predator. It evolved to eat only that specific insect and nothing else. Once the pest was gone, the beetle's own population declined. The honey badger, as a generalist that eats anything it can find, is the exact opposite. It's an ecological wrecking ball, not a surgical tool. For this reason, no serious scientist or state official is actually considering releasing honey badgers. The idea remains a dangerous fantasy. Instead, experts are focused on real, albeit slower, solutions to the python invasion. These include developing new technologies like advanced tracking systems and genetic tools to disrupt python breeding. They are also expanding the professional hunter programs, improving public education about the dangers of releasing exotic pets, and researching new traps and lures. There is no quick fix or single hero animal that can solve this problem. The real fight to save the Everglades will be won through science, persistence, and a commitment to responsible long-term strategies.